Hello, hello, hello. What is happening, movie fans alike? Welcome back. I am Dial, and this is another edition of my live. Yes, back with another live stream. A little something different though. A first time ever for my channel. I'm not only going live on my channel, which is I am DL. I am also going live on Movie Madness and Entertainment. Yes, yes, yes. So, to explain for people that are seeing my face for the first time who are fans of Movie Madness and Entertainment, hi, how you doing? I'm DL. You possibly have seen me appear on Mad Max's streams a few times, but yeah, I am technically under the MME banner. I am an MME member. Um, yeah, so for those of you who don't know, my channel is I am DL. If you guys want to check out my stuff, I'll put a link in the description to my channel so you can check out my stuff. But pretty much, I'm just another person that loves movies, and my channel pretty much is consistent of that. I talk about movies, shows, everything nerdy geek culture. Talk about it all. And I have my own crazy takes on things. If you guys haven't already seen my crazy takes when I'm on Max's streams, of course. So I decided, hey, I'm going to take over his channel today. And we're going to have some fun. Um, so, also, I'm sure you guys were aware that Mad Max just ended his 24-hour live stream, which is nuts. I honestly didn't think he was gonna make it. Um, but yeah, he just finished his 24-hour stream a few hours ago. Though I think YouTube took it down, unfortunately, because I think it was too long. But yeah, I did attend the stream for like I came in like a couple times, stayed for like a couple of hours probably. But proud of Max, he did make it through, even though YouTube was trying to bring him down. But I'll say, for those of you who are fans of me who have not checked out Movie Mask Entertainment, I will also put a link in the description to his channel on my channel that's streaming right now. I'll put a link to there if you guys want to check it out. Matt Max is a great guy. Um, I'll say his channel is pretty crazy. It has its chaotic moments for sure, and it's run by Max, who is 40-year-old man with a Doctor Doom mask. So it's that type of madness that goes on in that channel, but he's very entertaining. He's a very cool guy. He also talks about movies. He talks about movie news and scoops and stuff like that. And he's also joined by other YouTubers that talk about movies and nerdy stuff like myself and shows and whatnot. So if you guys want to check out his channel, go ahead check it out. But yeah, first time I am simultaneously streaming on both channels. Pretty exciting. So today, you guys have already seen it by the title. I decided tonight we're going to talk some Marvel. We're getting back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and today we're going to be talking about the the Marvel Studios special that they had on Disney Plus. It came out last week, I think. Was it Thursday, Friday? I think. We're going to be talking about Werewolf by Night. I'm very excited to get into this. Before we begin, let me check out the chat real quick. We had Keely Chow here earlier. What's up, Keely? And he was plugging La Reina's Creole for Welcome to America. I apologize if I got that name wrong, but but yeah, check out that channel, I guess. We have Shady in here. What's up? And then we have King's Port Portco. King's Portco. I apologize if I said your name wrong too. I'm glad you could come in and check out my live. Said I'm weed vaping and drinking some brews. Entertain me. Haha, you're very funny. All right, so let's get into this. But of course, before we begin, I also have to mention, for those of you who don't For those of you who have not seen Werewolf by Night yet, this is going to be a spoiler-filled discussion. We're going to be talking about this as if you saw it as well. So, if you have not seen Werewolf by Night and you don't want to be spoiled, go on Disney Plus, go and watch it, and then come back and listen to this later if you don't want to know anything. So, you have been warned. This is probably not going to be a long stream because, for one thing, I don't know if I'm going to be joined by any guests. Uh, I did put the invite out there. As always, you guys know that whole preamble. So we'll see if anybody pops in, but it's most likely probably me. But that's okay. We're gonna have an entertaining conversation nonetheless, and we'll see how these joined viewers in the comments how that's going to go. Um, but yeah, so starting off with Werewolf by Night. I have no idea about Werewolf by Night from the comics. I am a Marvel fan, but this is one of those comic book properties that I am not really familiar with. I didn't get hardcore into this. If you guys have watched my channel, you guys know my history with Marvel. Like I like Werewolf by Night is probably to me one of those C level, D level characters. Didn't really care about it. Um, but with Marvel and the MCU nowadays, they do a really good job of taking certain C level, D level characters and making them into household names. That's pretty much how they made their foundation, since they didn't have the big hitters like Spider Man, X Men, Fantastic Four, and stuff like that. But yeah, I did not really care about them making a Werewolf by Night thing. I didn't even know if it was going to be a show or a movie or anything like that. But apparently, it was going to be on Disney Plus, and yeah, that kind of gave me some worries because, in my opinion, I felt like the stuff Marvel related that they put on Disney Plus, which I'm talking about the shows, they have been pretty underwhelming for the most part, in my opinion. I know that uh, it has its fans out there. People love stuff like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki and stuff like that. But for me, it's most of them have been a big disappointment for me until recently because I did enjoy Miss Marvel, and so far I'm actually enjoying She-Hulk. And I know that's probably shocking for people. I know that especially for She-Hulk, that's probably one of the most divisive ones that came out. But I enjoyed those. Oh, I also liked What If. That's another one that a lot of people didn't enjoy, but I enjoyed it. I liked it quite a bit. But as far as them making another special Marvel show, whatever on Disney Plus, I'm like, oh boy, here comes another throwaway, and especially with a character that nobody even knows about. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens. But I will say for one thing, like even though I'm not like the biggest fan of Werewolf by Night, like it, I do appreciate that it was taking inspiration from like horror influences, especially from stuff like the Universal monsters. Because me personally, I was a pretty big fan of the Universal monsters growing up. With Frankenstein and the Wolfman and Dracula, Mummy, stuff like that. So I guess at least seeing how they would do from doing inspirations from that, we'll see what happens with that. You know, I'll say like off of topic a little bit since we're talking about the Universal monsters. That's a cinematic universe that I would love to see one day. I know that they tried with Dark Universe and Tom Cruise with the Mummy, and that didn't really work at all. I was very disappointed with that because I was really rooting for that movie personally. But like, I hope one day I'm sorry, that Universal could try again with the Universal monsters, man, because there's a lot of potential with that. Like, out of all the shared universes that Hollywood's trying to put out, I think that would be a very unique one at that. But though, while I was kind of curious to see how they would handle a property like Werewolf by Night, like we do know the formula of Marvel by now. Like even if they're going to do some werewolf stuff, it's probably not going to be as dark or as crazy as they could be because we know how Marvel is. They're owned by Disney. They like to do stuff that's family friendly, and if they do get violent, it's not going to go over the edge. So maybe. So it's probably gonna feel like another, safe little thing, whatever it was gonna be, whatever it was gonna end up being. Which I guess then it turned out it was gonna just be like a an hour special, I guess. Which I'm like, okay, just an hour special. We're not getting a show, and like it's not even the length of like a regular movie. So it's like, okay, well, okay, we'll see how that goes. But like as far as like with the tone and stuff like that, we had no idea what it was going to be up front. Um, but they did show one trailer, one trailer. I think that's the only marketing I saw from this, and it really surprised me because like it was in black and white. It looked like it was how it's shot. It was like old vintage and grady. It had like this horror influences, the campy horror influences that reminded me of stuff from the classic Universal monsters. Like this felt completely different from what we saw from Marvel up until this point. For the most part, it reminded me of the first half of WandaVision. It was that type of weird. Like it was going that extreme. I was like, oh, okay, fascinating. So they're actually trying to do something different again. So I'm like, okay, this actually got me intrigued. All right. And I also remembered that like this trailer just came out of nowhere. Like there wasn't really a big there wasn't really any build up to this special. That it was just that one trailer and that was it. So I guess Marvel, like, even though they were like looked like they were going to take a risk with this, it felt like they were kind of like holding back because they didn't know how it was going to be received. So yeah, that's how that whole preamble is before I watched it. Um, but anyway, hearing the good reviews from this like also made me a little bit more excited. So I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. So I sat down and watched this thing, and I was blown away. I actually really enjoyed this special. It's really, really good, man. And yes, like how what Blue Jay says in the comments, the fact that Michael Giacchino directed this, yes, it was very impressive. Yes, it's the same Michael Giacchino who is a score composer. Of, of like a score composer directed this special, and like he did such a really good job. For those of you who don't know Michael Giacchino, you probably know his work. He did the scores for let me pull up some of his stuff real quick. Michael Giacchino. Hold up, sorry. Oh yeah, so he did scores like the Star Trek, the JJ Star Trek movies. He did the Batman. He did Up. He did Thor: Love and Thunder, The Incredibles. Like a lot of you probably are familiar with his score composing, but like I did just never thought that he could direct the film. Or well, I guess yeah, I guess I'll call it a film because like it's a short film. I didn't think he could direct something like this. This was such a big surprise, and like as I said before, this felt very different from what we were getting from Marvel up until this point. Like it didn't feel formulaic, it didn't have the same structure. It actually felt like something from the classic Universal monsters. Like Lily, from how it's shot, how it looks, the acting, the score, just the tone. It literally felt like one of those black and white horror movies, and I'm just really glad that they took a risk with that, and they probably could do it with a property like this because not a lot of people know about it. So I'm like, okay, that's great. It's kind of similar to how like with not a lot of people like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they turned that into a space opera comedy. So it's like I'm just really glad that they went this far with it. It's like, and it did remind me of how weird the first half of WandaVision was. Like, even though I'm not really a big fan of WandaVision, I will say the first 3, 4 episodes when they were in black and white, going through the different times, that felt very unique for Marvel. And it reminded me of that. I wish it was longer. I really wish it was longer. I wish they didn't just have it be a 54-minute special. Like after watching this, I'm like, I need to see like I needed it to be I wanted it to be longer. I could have watched maybe like an hour and 40 minutes or 2 hours of this. I thought it was that. I thought it was that cool, man. The plot was straightforward. It wasn't too complicated. Um, there was actually some really cool action in this. And it actually got more violent than I thought it was going to be. Like actually was blood. You actually see people's limbs getting cut off. You see some blood. Like that. They actually went there in this special. And they once again they probably could get away with it a little bit more because it was in black and white. So you don't actually see like red blood and stuff like that. But I was surprised of how violent they actually got in this special. I was really excited about that. And yeah, there were some Easter eggs from like the Marvel comics, and there's some surprise appearance, which I'm sure a lot of you know which one I'm talking about. But like they did have some Easter eggs here and there, but you didn't need to know about the lore or the comics to enjoy this special. So overall, I was very happy with it. Um, Hold on, let me check out the chat because like there's a lot of chats that came in. Um, Start here. Werewolf by Night is definitely one of my. I think you were trying to say favorite. One of my favorite Marvel. It is one of the Marvel's best projects. Yes, yeah, I agree. I agree. They said Michael Giacchino already covered that. Werewolf by Night. You already okay. We're doing that twice. Okay. So JP, what's up? JP said Michael G directed like uh music orchestra. Really love that werewolf reveal shot with growing out and the dolly zoom was just a chef's kiss. Oh man. Oh yes. I absolutely loved that. It's like I feel like this is how Blade should be. Nice and slick with fun action. Don't need to be really long. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Even though I personally wanted it, I would have been okay if it was longer. Um, I'm glad it was short and sweet. It got to the point really quickly, so definitely appreciated that. Making music is composing pictures in your head. That's very true. That is very true. When hearing that he made this, like, I guess, you know, composing pictures in your head and like when you're making music, there's a lot of similarities of like making like of staging scenes and directing actors and stuff like that. I guess it could be like a similar thing. um Daryl Taylor in the chat. So what did you think about where and I enjoyed it where well I already talked about it just now. Okay. Sorry, I haven't had this many chats to go through before, so bear with me, everyone. Doing streaming on two channels at the same time. Bear with me, folks. This movie is absolutely amazing. I don't know how a music composer could direct a movie about a comic that not a ton of people know about. It could make me go gaga about it. I adore this. Yep, I agree. Man Thing, baby. Yes, Man Thing. We will definitely be talking about Man Thing in a minute. But but anyway, I guess we could start talking about. I guess we go through the characters, because like I guess I wouldn't be too much to say because like I guess like there's only like a couple people that actually like had kind of had development in this special. Like I mean, not to say that the characters were bad, but I say that probably there's only like maybe two and a half characters in this that actually they actually fleshed them out a lot, and of course one of them is Jack. Yes, I thought he was really really good. The main person that becomes a werewolf in this. Once again, I got to remind you guys that I don't know much about the comic book, so I'm just literally going off of the special of how I feel about his character. So if you guys in the comments have read Werewolf by Night, you want to comment about some comparisons that you like, some differences that you liked from this, you go ahead, feel free. I'll highlight it. But you know, going off of him in the movie, I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty good. You could tell that there was some level of mystery from him from the get go. Um, I like that. I like the whole premise of like that there are these hunters, that hunt monsters. They're like this. Um, I guess like this cult. I guess you could say maybe, but like I like that they're establishing that there are these group of people that hunt monsters, and it's like they're all. I guess that they wouldn't say they work together, but like they do have similar, I guess, things that they worship, or like similar methods of how they go about hunting monsters. Like they're like a clan or something like that, and it kind of reminds me of this kind of reminds me of like how in John Wick, like there's like this association with all the assassins and stuff like that, and they have their own code and stuff like that. It kind of reminded me of that, which I thought was really interesting. And um and then there's like this whole like mystique with, I guess, who they consider to be the best monster hunter out there, which is Ulysses Bloodstone. I gotta say, the that name's kind of on the nose, especially for this special, because like the MacGuffin of this special was the Bloodstone, and his last name is the Bloodstone. So that one was kind of like okay, that's kind of on the nose there, but that's fine. Um, but yeah, I did like that little that mystique of Bloodstone being the best monster hunter out there. I wish that we were able to know a little bit more about, him, of why he was such a great monster hunter and stuff like that. Um, and then also like they also established her daughter, Elsa. Okay, look, I know this is, this character's probably for the comics, so it's like way before Frozen, but like I just couldn't help but draw the comparisons because Marvel's owned by Disney, and this character's name's Elsa, and one of Disney's biggest characters is Elsa, so that's literally that came to my mind, but that's whatever. But so that whole thing with his daughter Elsa, being next in line to be one of the greatest monster hunters out there. Like I thought that was really interesting, and I thought she was probably the best character in this special to me. She was the most interesting. She had the most personality, and it's like I wanted to know. Other than of course, the main werewolf of the special, I wanted to know more about her. I want to know more about her family lineage. Because it's just really fascinating. This whole history of monster hunters and the Bloodstone and stuff like that. So it was very intriguing, but it's like you can only do so much in a 54-minute special. But I thought all that was interesting. Um, okay, let me check out these chats real quick. He's like, yep, they love Elsa. She definitely needed a shotgun. Yes, for sure. Like she didn't come in with any weapons at all. Um, it's it's hard to believe that she forgot her name was Elsa because they kept saying her name like so many times in the specials. Like it's surprising that you forgot about it. But yeah. But yeah, I thought she was very interesting. Um, so I guess like again with the main, I guess the main lady that runs the I guess the organization of monster hunters. I'm assuming what's her name? It was the Harriet, I think. She was, yeah, she was cool. She was doing like this over the top like campy performance, I guess, but it worked for the tone of the movie, I would say. Um and I kind of felt from the beginning that she was probably going to be the antagonist of the whole special, and it turned out she was. But even though like she was an antagonist, but she wasn't a straight up villain because she believed that all monsters are dangerous, and so like she has to do whatever it takes to get rid of all the monsters. So she didn't even want to think about seeing it from Jack's perspective and stuff like that, being sympathetic towards it, werewolf and stuff like that. So it's not like she was just being evil for the sake of evil. But yeah, I thought she was pretty solid. Um, the other assassins, I guess they're fine. but I would say that the other assassins didn't get that much to do. I literally have to pull up their names here because I don't even remember them saying their names in the special if they did at all. But I guess like probably the most memorable of them outside of Elsa and Jack was Joven. You know, I guess because he had like the most dialogue out of the other assassins, and like he had more of a presence. You know, and he had this cool axe that that he uses to try and kill the other assassins and the monster. So he had like the most to do, I would say, but like not much to him there. And then a Zero, um, not much to say about her. I mean, not to say she was bad, but just like the only thing I remember from her that like she had a brief sword fight with Elsa, but then like Elsa killed her really quick. Um, I remember she cut her throat and then put a sword like in between her eyes and stuff like that, and you actually saw that on camera. Like they didn't cut away; they actually saw you actually saw Elsa like cutting her up. And it's like that's what I mean by like I didn't expect for them to get as violent as they did. And then oh my gosh, they always got to give the short end of the stick to the black guy. Um, his name is Barrasso, I think. I hope I said that his name wrong. I mean, I hope I didn't say his name right. I meant to say I hope I didn't get his name wrong. I apologize. Sorry, I'm mixing up my words. But Lily, he had nothing. Nothing. I don't remember him doing anything. I remember Jack as a werewolf eating biting his ear off, and the blood was everywhere, and that's it. I don't remember him doing anything. Um, so that's probably one thing where I was like, I'm kind of disappointed. Oh wait, I forgot. I forgot about the I forgot about the other one. Um, Leorn, this guy. Did he have that arrow thing, arrow arch, like that bow and arrow thing, crossbow on his wrist, and then I think Joven cut his arm off. I think. Yeah. So that's probably the one thing I was kind of disappointed with is the other assassins. They could have had some really cool gimmicks going on with them, in my opinion. Just to just to make the whole the whole clan of monster hunters, just make them more interesting. Have them show what makes each of the monster hunters unique. But once again, I know you got to keep in mind that it's only a 54-minute special, so you can't go into it that much. But I just personally would like to know more about the other assassins. But okay. Chat time, chat break. Let's see what's in the chat. Um, they said their names, but only once. Yeah, right. And I don't even remember. I literally had to look it up on IMDb. Um, and it said, Blue Jay says, I find the assassins being potential canon fathers. That's what they pretty much ended up doing with their characters, which, I mean, it's fine because, they're there to serve the story for, the werewolf stuff. But it would. I just find that the world building with the monster hunters. I just think there could have been a lot of potential with that. Maybe if the special was longer, they probably could have gone into that a little bit more. But you can only do so much under an hour. Uh, the axe dude kick ass. He sure did. Like he was probably Joven was probably the most memorable assassin out of all of them. Um, who was it, Elf? Who who are we talking about? Um, I don't know who you're referring to, but because I don't remember an elf in there. He's like, damn, I gotta rewatch this shit, because you don't remember all this stuff that's happening. But yeah, D D plus show generally have a lot of blood. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Um, well, even that I probably have to disagree with you on because the only time I remember them actually having blood was when U.S. agent took the shield and uh, killed that one dude. That was the only time you saw blood, And the rest of the episodes, I remember they were pretty clean, pretty clean. Um, that's probably that's all I remember. The only time I remember actual blood in that show, because I only watched the show once, but maybe I really don't want to rewatch Falcon Winter Soldier, but if I do have the urge to, maybe I'll pay attention to see if there was more blood than that. But like I don't remember it being that bloody. Um, Man Thing was an Easter egg, and his face was on the Grandmaster's Tower along with Hulk, Ares, By Beast, Beta Ray Bill, Fin Fang Foom, and Nightcrawler and Hulk. All of them were on the. Okay, yeah, I guess I gotta watch that again and look for it. Like I didn't realize their faces were there. That's really cool, actually. That's another thing I appreciate about this special is that I think I already said this before, but like they do have Easter eggs to the outside Marvel universe, but you don't need to watch anything else to understand what's going on here, you know. And like I feel like that's something that Marvel is kind of like is kind of overdoing it recently with the Easter eggs and stuff, where it feels like with a lot of their properties, they don't feel as standalone anymore, and it's like they feel like they have to put in more characters from other things to set up for other movies and shows, and so it's like you feel like there's like a even bigger commitment for everyone to watch everything to understand what new thing is going to come out. It's like, and I'm sure a lot of people are fine with that. They like all the interconnectivity, and me personally, I like some of the interconnectivity too. I think it's clever in a lot of ways of how they do it, but I think it's gotten to a point where it's overwhelming. And it's like I hear it from people, that some of my friends and like other people that are saying that that stuff starts to feel underwhelming, especially for people that haven't read the comics and stuff like that. They possibly feel lost, and the overabundance of shows and movies that we're getting, not everyone's going to be able to keep up with everything. Not everyone's going to have time to, watch everything to understand what's going on. So it's just like I wish that we can go back to a simpler time where, a good like at least, some of the Marvel stuff you can watch on their own, and you're not going to be confused with anything, and it's you're not just putting stuff in there to set up for other things and cameos just for the sake of cameos. Like I really like that this stood on its own. But speaking of Easter eggs earlier, well, okay, this is more than an Easter egg. This is an actual character in this freaking special, which I did not expect for them to bring in, and that's Ted, Man Thing. Oh my gosh, he's actually in this, and it's like I didn't I didn't know I didn't even know like he was going to be like an actual character in this. I thought he was just going to be a cameo and that's it. Like, but no, he actually was somewhat important to the plot. He had like more than one scene. He actually has a dynamic with Jack. And I actually I thought that was really really cool. And what I thought was actually kind of interesting because like for the most part the special doesn't have much CGI. Like there's a good amount of practical effects. Like the only CGI effects outside of Man Thing was the Bloodstone doing its energy coming out of the Bloodstone, which I actually kind of like that. The Bloodstone was the only color that we saw the from the special for the most part until the ending, till they turned everything into color. But I thought it was really cool that when it's in black and white, the only thing that had color was the Bloodstone. It was red, and there was a nice effect where the energy comes out of the stone, where it starts out red and then it turns to black and white. So I thought that was a really cool effect there. But Man Thing, he was CGI as well. So I thought that was he actually looked good CGI. It didn't look out of place with everything else being 90% practical. But they even had practical effects for him at the end, which I was actually happy with as well. So there was a mixture of CGI and practical effects for Man Thing. He looked awesome. He looked really, really cool. Um, and Man Thing, like I'm familiar with Man Thing, but I haven't read everything from him, So I guess I could say I'm kind of green, green. I'm kind of green with his development as well. But like I thought it was very interesting. You know what I would love to see? I if they continue from Werewolf by Night, which I think we do need a continuation from this. I would watch an entire special show or movie following Jack and Man Thing around, because they're best friends and like the chemistry between the two I thought was pretty good. So I definitely would just watch a whole special with these two doing whatever, you know, drinking tea and whatever, doing their own thing. I think that would be a really cool special for sure. Back to the chat. Let's see. Yeah, you're funny. You're very funny. Yes, Ted was adorable. He was adorable. He reminded me of Groot in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. He reminded me a lot of that. And I feel like that's a presence that we kind of need back because like, even though I like baby Groot, I am not a fan of teen Groot at all. I think he kind of lacked the magic that he had in his previous movies. So it's like it feels like Man Thing's trying to harness that that big monster that's actually that feels like a teddy bear. So I feel like we need that again, and like Man Thing, I think fits that for sure, bringing back the adult Groot vibes. And he said, "Man Thing is flat out a beast. He's awesome." Yes, like even though like he does have his cute little moments and stuff like that, he had some really cool kills in this as well. Like he just incinerates people in this flat out. Like I thought that was great. That was so cool how they do it. It's like like once again going back to how brutal this special is. Like when Man Thing's incinerate people, especially when she incinerated what's her name? Verusa. Sorry, that I don't know if I called her a different name earlier, but the that lady that's the head of the clan or whatever. Her name is Verusa. When he incinerated Verusa and like all that was left was her like burnt head and stuff like that. I'm just like, damn, that's some. Oh, like JP said, this is some Sam Raimi shit, man. Like I was loving that stuff. It definitely had some Evil Dead vibes here and there, like of how it gets campy. Like it's not as extreme as Evil Dead, but you do feel some influence from that here and there. Um. Okay, see more. Man Thing is awesome. Yeah, that shit is cool. Is Ted Salis was a scientist that injected a serum designed for the Extremis Project for AIM. As he did this, he fell into a mystical swamp that mutated his body into Man Thing. Yeah, that's what I thought his development was. So that's actually pretty cool. Um, I don't think I need a standalone Man Thing show or a movie. Like they could probably sum up his origin, like if they do a Werewolf by Night 2 and he becomes more of an important supporting character for Jack. That I think that could be something I would like to see. I would like to see them tackle his development in something in the future. Man Thing is full CG as an animator. The facial animation is a bit off. Less R&D budget for sure. Really? Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to argue with the, with an animator cuz you probably can see the details more. Um I'm trying to think back like if there was a shot that I thought could have been a little off. I'm trying to see what moments you're probably thinking about. Maybe towards the end I probably slightly noticed something a little off with his face maybe, but like not enough to be like, oh, it looks bad, because I still felt like for the most part his CGI it looked good. It looked really really good. I believe that he was there. Um, but yeah, maybe like there probably was some imperfections when they actually, with the color and like you could actually see like a little bit more of his expressions there. But like, because I think the black and white did a if there was any imperfections with that, I think the black and white did a better job of covering that stuff, maybe. But hey, it's cool that you possibly caught something like that. Yep, that was dope. Yep, and there goes some. I'm not even gonna acknowledge the spam in the chat because that I know that happens on MME's channel. So I wish I was big enough to get some bots. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't think I have enough followers to have. Um, I'm sorry. Did I say bots? I meant mods. Why did I say bots? Sorry about that. But yeah, I don't think I'm big enough to have mods yet. So maybe when I get some more subscribers, I'll try to get some mods on my channel. But you said man thing can fuck you up. Yeah, moderators assemble. Yeah, you could do that for Max's channel. Because I know there's modders there. Get rid of that stuff in the those spam in the chat. Um, kill the bots. Yep, yep. Do your thing. So I guess the only thing we had left to talk about really is when Jack actually turns into a werewolf. Um, yeah, I thought it was great when he turned to a werewolf, and I liked that he didn't actually just look like a full on wolf. He actually looked like a hairy man with the pointy ears and fangs. Looked very reminiscent from the Wolf Man from the Universal Monsters, and I was actually very happy about that. Because like for most werewolves nowadays, like they actually just want to turn him into a full on wolf, and I'm just like, I think the last like generally, where they actually tried to make the wolf look a little bit more human, which the one that comes to mind instantly was Lupin in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban when he turned into a werewolf. He still had some like humanistic qualities to it. And then of course I know I'm sure some people are gonna bring up Twilight where it's like they're not even like werewolves, they're shapeshifters that turn into giant wolves, like flat out wolves, not even looking like actual werewolves. So I'm glad this one they actually went back to actually make it look like a humanoid wolf, looking very, very reminiscent of the Wolfman. But yeah, when he goes on a killing spree, with the security and stuff like that, like and you know killing the other monster hunters, I thought that was awesome. Thought that was great. And once again, like there's the blood, there was blood in this. Like he was cutting limbs off. Like I said earlier, he was biting people's ears off and clawing their insides. Like that was, I was just surprised how far they took it. And I'm sure a lot of you want me to talk about that. That one shot in that room where the security doors were lowering and like it had the bright lights and then it's like you saw the wolf man killing a bunch of the security in that room while the security doors were lowering, very reminiscent of the one take in the Netflix Daredevil show, in the hallway fight. Very reminiscent of that, but it had its own spin on it. But I thought, yeah, that was probably the one of the best shots in the special for sure. Um, and what I also liked was once again going back to the chemistry between Jack and Elsa. I like that Jack trying to figure out a way to to remember, to have his mind remember Elsa when he turns to a werewolf, that he's trying to sniff her in different spots to have him remember her scent and stuff like that. So I thought that's a nice detail right there. But yeah, so I guess so I said as I said, Man Thing ends up killing Verusa. I think Elsa ends up getting the Bloodstone and then taking over the clan organization, I guess. And then Jack runs away, and then Man Thing follows him and goes to help him out. and that's pretty much the special. And then at the very end, when it starts to the black and white starts turning into color, transitioning from the color, starting from the bloodstone, and then it goes to Elsa turning her to color, then it turns the environment into color, and then we cut to Man Thing and Jack in the forest by a fire, campfire, drinking coffee, talking and stuff like that. I thought that was a nice transition of how they went from black and white to um to color. I thought that was really nice. And like I said, I would just love to see an entire show with Jack and Man Thing. I think that would be really cool to watch just to see their chemistry and doing missions together or whatever they do. And yeah, I definitely want to see Elsa back, because I want to see how she, takes over everything and becomes next in line with, becoming one of the best monster hunters and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff they could do in this pocket of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we haven't seen before. It's something very unique. Very different from what they've done before. Um, Now I do wanna like acknowledge like the fan theory that people were thinking, can Blade show up in this? Actually, that could be a possibility. Because like it's similar in tone. They're dealing with similar monsters. If there are vampires around, I'm sure they could have Blade appear in a couple of stuff. That is, if the Blade movie actually happens, because we know that there's some problems with that going on right now because they lost a director and they haven't came up with a script yet, and they're definitely not going to meet the release date that they announced from what was it, D23 or Comic Con, where they said that whenever this the Blade movie is going to be released, it's not going to make that. They're definitely going to have to push it back. And I'm wondering how that's going to affect other Marvel movies and shows if that gets pushed back. Because what other projects tie in with Blade? So we'll just have to see what happens and how the timeline fits with Blade as far as the MCU and stuff like that. But you know, I think it'll be exciting to see Blade show up in something like this. But I have to see a Blade movie first. I got to see if that's good, and then I could get myself more excited for him to show up in a Werewolf by Night scenario. But but yeah, man, I was really happy with this. It's like it's just even though it's cool that Marvel is able to expand all this, it's just a shame that Marvel keeps beating these other franchises to the punch. As I said, like this being a heavy influence from the Universal monsters. Like, how is Universal not doing something like this right now? If they were this creative and this innovative with their Universal monster properties, they could have been had a good dark universe out there already. You know, and then also you know talk about the other comic book studio, DC. With them trying to get or I don't know if they still are trying to get their Justice League Dark universe out there. you know, it's like once again Marvel's beating DC and to the punch with them doing horror properties, doing them well. It's like I wish that they were able to take risks with that with DC with whatever they're gonna do with Justice League Dark, with Constantine and Zatanna and Swamp Thing. Well, that's another thing. Whenever they do Swamp Thing again, you're going to see the comparisons with Man Thing and Swamp Thing. It's going to be this whole thing again with who's copying who or whatever. So it's like I'm not looking forward to that crap again. But even though I'm just excited for Marvel to you know, put out these cool, put out these cool properties. It also is kind of bittersweet because like I just wish that other studios like Universal and Warner Brothers got their shit together and got their properties done like that, you know. Um, but that's just how I personally feel about it. Let me read the chat one more time before we are start to close things out. Um, no, no. I do not like Rob Zombie as a director at all. I did not see the monsters, but I heard it was terrible. but I'm already not a fan of Rob Zombie as a director. I did not like his Halloween movies either. Um, yeah, nothing against him personally, but I just feel like he's not really good when it comes to filmmaking. I think he needs to try something else. You know, um, Universal tried with Tom Cruise the Mummy. It flopped like a stinky fish on a hot summer day. Yeah, it did, and like I said, I was rooting for it. Because I was really excited for them to do a Universal Monster Cinematic Universe, and I still want them to try again someday. But I think the problem with that is that they didn't. They kept trying to make it similar to Marvel, like they wanted to be another action blockbuster, and you know, the Universal Monsters didn't need to be an action blockbuster. It could just rely more on being a horror, suspense, and you could have some action in there, but it's like it shouldn't rely on the spectacle and like the big action set pieces that the Mummy was trying to do. So it's just Universal understanding the properties and that just not trying to be copy Marvel. Everyone's trying to copy Marvel and they don't need to. Like a Universal Monsters universe could be unique from other cinematic universes because it's a universe based on horror. And it's like, I mean, yes, there are other horror cinematic universes out there like The Conjuring and stuff like that, but it's like this could have been an opportunity to do something really special with that. And as I said, with DC, I want to see a Justice League. I want to see Justice League Dark. I think they could have their own little pocket universe of Justice League Dark. You know, and have they could do individual projects like Constantine, Satan, and stuff like that. If that's what they want to do to build up to a Justice League Dark, but I could see them doing stuff like that too. Do being a similar grain as the Justice League Dark animated movie that we got a few years back. Even though I didn't care for Batman being a main character in that, Batman didn't need to be in that. But outside of Batman, all the stuff that they were doing with the Justice League Dark characters, I thought were great in that. So I wish they would do something with that already. They're probably gonna try and they're probably trying to do that, but they could have gotten there faster if they believed in their characters. But anyway, that's all I got to say about Werewolf by Night. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a very interesting special. It felt very unique from the other stuff we're getting from the MCU. Even though I wanted it to be longer, I like that it was short and straight to the point. You understood what was going on. The plot was very straightforward. The characters were likable, where the world building was interesting, even though I wish they could have gone into some more depth with it. But yeah, I like that it was calling back to stuff like the Universal classic monsters. I like that it had more of a horror vibe. I like that they were dedicated to this being 90% in black and white. I like that they made that choice for it to be black and white, and it had that classic feel with how it was filmed. I'm very impressed by Michael Giacchino's directing in this, from him being a composer. So I'm actually would be looking forward if he does any more projects. I would totally would be interested to see what he does next. Um, but yeah, I thought it was really cool, man. Like if Marvel keeps doing like taking risks like this in their universe, I think it will be very good for them. Because like as I said for the longest time, is that I know their formula is working. That they do have a dedicated fan base and they'll watch anything no matter what. But I do feel like they can't keep doing the same thing as far as how they make their movies and how they're structured. I know there's going to be people that's going to say, but wait, DL, they have different genres with their films. Ant-Man's a heist film. um, Black Panther was this. Guardians of the Galaxy was a space opera. What are you talking about? They have different genres. They try different things like that. Blah 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 blah. Yes, yes, yes. They do have different genres. They do tackle different subject matter. However, as far as tone, as far as how the story is structured and how characters interact with each other, and most importantly, the humor. The humor. Most of it feels the same. A lot of it feels safe. A lot of it doesn't feel as shocking as it could be. And as far as there's some surface level stuff with the MCU. Like we can't deny that. Like there are times where they do get more complex with the story and the characters, but for the most part, it's simple. The, like for what they're doing. And this is simple as well, but at least they're trying to do something creative with how they go about their story. It doesn't feel like just another installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It doesn't feel like another episodic film in their slate. And I hope that Marvel takes more risk with this, and with it having such positive reception, maybe they'll feel more confident to do more creative stuff like this, you know? So I like it. I like it a lot. So overall, I will give Werewolf by Night. I'll give it a solid B plus. 8 out of 10, really good. Very, very enjoyable. Um, but yeah, that is my that are those are my thoughts on Werewolf by Night. Tell me, what did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment all your thoughts down below and let me know. I appreciate the viewers from Movie Madness and Entertainment joining with me on this simultaneous stream on MME and my channel IMDL. Probably gonna do it again in the very near future. I'm trying to decide when. Maybe I'll come back for either Black Adam or when we do She-Hulk. When the finale's over, when the show's over, I probably will do that again for that. Well, we'll just have to see. But I hope you guys enjoyed my stream. If for all the newcomers on my channel and on MME's channel, if you enjoyed this stream, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Please leave a thumbs up. Helps me in the algorithm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I appreciate any interaction you can give me. It'll be great. At the very least, you can hit that thumbs up. Um, and for those of you who aren't subscribed to my channel, please go and subscribe to my channel. For those of you watching on the MME channel, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to my channel, and I appreciate it if you guys leave a uh, thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you want to hear my other crazy takes on movies and shows, hit the bell too while you're subscribed to my channel. It'll be great. You'll be notified on future videos, live streams, and podcasts I'll be doing. I already have a bunch of content on my channel already. I talked about all the other previous Marvel movies and shows up until this point. I talk about DC. I talk about Star Wars. I talk about Disney. I talk about horror. I talk about all different things. So if you want to hear my other crazy takes on things, go ahead, check out my channel and subscribe. It would mean a lot. But I'd like to thank Mad Max for letting me stream on his channel. Had a good time. I will do it again very, very soon. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.